Okay, so have you ever, like, looked up at the stars and just thought, where is everybody?
You mean like aliens?
Yeah, exactly. It's this thing called the Fermi paradox. Like, the universe is huge E, right? Trillions of stars, probably even more planets.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, somebody should be out there, but nothing.
Ah, yeah. I've heard about that. It's kind of creepy when you think about it too much. Like, are we really all alone?
Well, that's what we're diving into today, this idea of the great filter. It might explain why we haven't met any extraterrestrials. Basically, it's this idea that there's something, some kind of barrier that stops most civilizations from, well, getting to the point where they're zipping around the galaxy, like in Star Trek.
Hmm. A great filter. Sounds a little ominous.
It's kind of IS because there are two main possibilities. Either humanity's like super special, the only ones who made it past this filter,
Sure.
which, wow, that's a lot of pressure, or the filter is ahead of us, meaning almost every civilization that gets to our level hits a wall and wipes itself out.
Yeah, that's definitely the less fun option.
For this deep dive, we're looking at excerpts from this text called Sus ECT. It's pretty dense, but it has some thought-provoking stuff about this whole cosmic silence thing.
Okay, so great filter 101, right?
Yeah.
What exactly are we talking about here? Not a literal wall in space, I'm guessing?
Nope. More like the one thing that almost every civilization fails at. It could be like a tech hurdle they can't overcome, or maybe they always self-destruct, or who knows. But whatever IT is, it keeps them from getting to the point where we notice them, like interstellar travel or sending out signals we can pick up.
So if there's this filter, and if it's behind us, meaning humans somehow got through it, what could it have been? Like, life on Earth seems pretty tough. We've survived a lot.
Right. I mean, we've had ice ages, volcanoes, all that crazy stuff.
Sure, but go back to the very beginning. How did life even start? Going from just chemicals to like a single-celled organism, that's huge EE. There's this idea called the RNA world hypothesis. Basically, before DNA, there might have been these RNA molecules doing the work of life.
RNA, like the stuff we hear about with vaccines and whatnot.
Exactly. But how those RNA molecules first formed, how they started copying themselves, that's still a huge mystery. Might have been a 1 in a billion fluke that Earth even got that far.
Wow, yeah. It's like we take the whole life exists thing for granted, but maybe it's super rare just to get to that point.
And then there's another jump going from single-celled to multicellular life. That's what allowed for, plants, animals, eventually us. That transition where cells had to learn to work together, specialize. Another bottleneck, maybe?
So if we did pass those filters,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of mind-blowing. We're the result of like cosmic lotteries being won over and over.
It really makes you appreciate just being here, doesn't it?
Totally. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But now, W, let's get to the scarier part. What if the great filter isn't in the past? It's in our future.
Well, that's where things get a bit more unsettling. This text, Siojan, it talks about how there might be this pattern in the universe. Civilizations rise, they advance, and then silence. Like a cosmic graveyard.
Like they hit this wall and just
Yeah.
vanished.
Exactly. The question is, what is that wall? Could it be something we do to ourselves?
Okay, so self-inflicted apocalypse. That's kind of the classic sci-fi trope, right? We blow ourselves up or wreck the environment or
Yeah, all very real possibilities, unfortunately. Nuclear war is the obvious one. I mean, we came dangerously close during the Cold War, and the weapons today are even more powerful.
true. But hasn't there been like a global effort to reduce those stockpiles? Like we're aware of the danger at least.
We are, and that's hopeful. But you still just need one wrong move, one miscalculation, one escalation, and it's all over. Plus, there are other ways to mess things up. The environment, for example.
Yeah, climate change, pollution.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a secret that we're not treating the planet very well.
And every civilization would have to deal with finite resources. At some point, you can't just keep growing and consuming without consequences. Maybe that's the trap, the filter. Every planet gets used up, and they can't escape in time.
Okay, but what about stuff outside our control?
Hmm.
Like even if we're super careful, could the universe just wipe us out anyway?
Absolutely. The universe is a pretty wild place. Gamma ray bursts, for example. Basically, a star explodes and blasts out this intense radiation. If one hit Earth, it could fry everything, no matter how advanced we are.
Yikes.
Or a supervolcano eruption. We've got one sitting right under Yellowstone National Park. If that thing blew, it'd be global devastation. And then there are asteroids. We know those have caused mass extinctions before.
So basically, we're doomed no matter what.
Not necessarily. Knowing about the great filter, even if it eye scary, should change how we approach things.
Yeah.
If it's behind us and we truly are the exception, then we have a huge responsibility. Like, we might be the only ones carrying the torch of intelligence, of consciousness in this vast
It's a
universe.
lot to take in.
It is. It means every discovery we make, every piece of art we create, it's not just for us. It might be the only chance the universe has to experience those things.
Okay, but if the filter is ahead of us,
Yeah.
then what? It's all about survival, right? Like
Mhm.
every decision matters way more now.
Exactly. Space exploration suddenly becomes not just about curiosity, but about making sure humanity has a backup plan. If we can become a multiplanetary species, colonize other worlds, maybe that's how we get around whatever wiped out everyone else.
And taking care of Earth isn't just like good environmentalism anymore. It's essential to our species lasting long enough to do any of that.
Right. And it's not just about physical survival either. If we think everyone else failed, we have to figure out WYY. What were their mistakes? Was it technology, greed, something we haven't even thought of?
This is heavy stuff. It's like every choice we make could decide not just our fate, but the fate of, well, intelligence in the universe, maybe.
It really puts things into perspective. Science makes this point: we might not get a second chance. The universe is full of potential, but it doesn't hand out free passes. This whole great filter thing, it's a reminder of how precious and fragile life is and how important it is to make the right choices, both individually and as a species.
Wow. So, to our listeners, think about that. Knowing about the great filter, what are you going to do differently? How will you change your actions, change your view of the universe? But something to ponder for sure.